One of the things I hear a lot of talk about is doing LSAT questions by type. And there are obvious reasons for that. It's good to know the proper perspective from which to view a question. And the question stem, if we're talking logical reasoning in particular, gives you some guidance on that. Obviously, knowing game types are good too. And there was one company called Cambridge LSAT that used to publish big books of LSAT questions divided by type. These were really popular. A lot of students found them valuable, but that company lost their license to publish LSAT questions. LSAC decided that they didn't want to be so liberal with their licensing, and so as a result, those books are no longer being published. And if you've been searching them on Amazon, you might see that they're quite pricey. We see here there are some that are $200, some that are $500. Basically, third-party sellers are taking advantage of the fact that these books are no longer widely available, and they're jacking up the price in the hopes of someone with too much money to spend or someone who's not looking carefully will buy it instead. And of course, you don't want to do that, but you do want to get LSAT questions by type. So the Cambridge LSAT ones are not going to do it for you at that price point. There is an alternative, and it's called Kaplan LSAT Mastery Practice. This is a book from the Kaplan course. It is not sold retail. It's only provided to students in the courses. But the good news is that thanks to Amazon, you can easily get used copies from third-party sellers, some of which are even in perfect condition. And so, of course, you're going to want to check that. But these books contain tons of LSAT questions grouped by type. You can see here there's one for games, there's one for logical reasoning, and they're both pretty cheap. One's 99 cents, one's $4.50, and maybe those are, of course, not totally clean. Maybe they have some writing or highlighting or underlining, in which case you might want to buy a slightly more expensive one. But even if we go down, we see that there's one for $10, there's one for $40, $20, $2.38. So maybe one of those books out of all the ones listed here, you'll find one that works for you. And once I publish this video, maybe there will be fewer available if people start going out and buying them, but there seem to be dozens and dozens of them being listed here. And of course, if you can't find it on Amazon, maybe you try your city's Craigslist, someone's selling some used copies, and they're not technically supposed to. It's kind of a gray market sort of thing, but this has been going on for years, and you should be fine. And if you want to see what I was talking about with the categorizations on my site, I've got some pulled up for you here. One former student, Daniel R., gave a very detailed list of all the logical reasoning questions divided by type, and you can see the various categories: flaw, must be true, necessary assumption, etc., all the way down, and he just went super in-depth doing everything up to the late 50s. And so that's one potential resource to use for doing logical reasoning questions by type. Then for logic games, I've done the legwork on that. Here I've pulled up from the 50s, the new logic games categorization, 52 to 64. And so you can see those broken up both by type and then by exam if you want to see them in a particular exam. And again, I'll include links to these resources below this video. But doing questions by type is a very valuable technique, however you choose to do it. It gives you a strong foundation in each LSAT section, so you can start by focusing on accuracy by type, then pulling it all together with 35-minute timed sections, and finally, the full-length 5-section timed exams as you approach test day. So check those out, either get the book of them or use your own exams. Anyway, hope you found this helpful. If you did, please subscribe to be notified of new episodes as I release them. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.